Maybe they're not holding hands. They're just like here. Can I explain the rule of thirds and why I don't believe in it? I think the rule of thirds is fine. The idea of the rule of thirds is that compositions, that if you split something into thirds, that these are places where you kind of like want the center of attention to be at. You know, funny, as I did that, and I wasn't even paying attention, I literally put a circle on top of the different points of interest in my thing. So clearly, on some level, I do believe in it. I guess I do believe, let me think about it. I don't really like any kind of philosophy about composition that's like super sort of mathematical. Anything that has to do with like proportions, the Fibonacci sequence, because I think that they are not really like generative places to start thinking about how to compose things. They are really restrictive. I think in general, my sort of counter to the rule of thirds is basically like when something's in the middle, it feels a little obvious as a composition. So that's why you don't want stuff in the middle, but you also don't want stuff kind of in the corners. So the rule of thirds kind of tells you like, make it a little bit off center, but still give it a margin from the sides of the sort of composition for me to be able to look at it. And that I think is like a better rule in my head, because I'm like, well, I'm not tied up in like, well, is it like in the thirds or whatever? It's more about like, it's approaching the idea of composition more from a place of like, okay, what feels sort of too symmetrical? I want to upset it a little bit, but I also want a little bit of margin. So I don't, yeah, that's kind of my philosophy. I don't like any kind of rule about art that falls into anything that's like pseudo-scientific. Like, oh, there's like a scientific reason why this works.